We're in round 3, the finals. We'll play first. And yeah, I guess we'll keep it. I've got 2 mana and a 2-drop. We're running 18 lands. It seems like a keep. We definitely want to hit lands. Pretty important with this hand in particular. We rip a mountain. Looking pretty insane. Opponent mulled to 6. Wow. It's pretty nice. Did rip the mountain, which is also nice. I wouldn't mind ripping a land here. All right. I was going to say, if we ripped a land there, we could actually ramp plus play an Invoker, which would be pretty insane. But now at least we're safe from Gideon's Reproach, which is pretty cool too. I mean, having 2 combat tricks with 2 creatures on turn 3 is pretty nice. Okay. Alright, that's fine. I think he's probably motivated to block here. We'll go Swell. I think Swell's not as useful anymore. No land play here, unfortunately, but that's okay. That guy's big. Thankfully, we get to attack into it, though, which is pretty sick. So I'm glad I used the proper combat trick. And hey, if he doesn't block, we're still looking pretty insane. Maybe he doesn't want to block, too. He kind of has to block there. Sure Strike is insane, by the way. This is the first time I've played with it. This card is nuts. What an insane combat trick. All right. Worked pretty well for him, I got to admit. Bummer. Just missing land drops in our 18 lander. Always a bummer. So now I guess we're just working towards that territorial Baloth. Yeah, I guess this guy is pretty sweet for some of the converged creatures, huh? Yeah, I remember passing that. This guy was certainly right next to us. That's a weird one. Well, I guess we don't want to trade our... Alright. Let's just block there. Bit of a disappointment. Let's get in some damage here, I guess. And play an Invoker and then pass. Well, we're mana away from turn against, I guess, which could be our ace in the hole. Yeah, still good. At least it's not lifelink, I guess. I mean, if our opponent goes all in, I think we just take it. Let me think about that, actually. I might just take 6 damage here. Getting a Baloth down seems more important. Yeah, we're just going to take 6. Oh, my opponent's got another play? Bummer. Alright. Got something for me yet? Here we go. So now I can... get our landfall. I can... guess swing like this. If he plays an ally, I can just steal the Blade Master, and then I'm not at risk of dying. I could have turned against on the Shadow Glider, and that would have forced him to block as well, but I think this is still fine. Just going to take 5. He's got 1 card left in hand. I could also just play the Baloth. And then I can't turn against next turn if I do that. I can play the Slide Runner and keep my Scion. And that way if I get a land, I can turn against plus have some pretty sizable... I think having more blockers is probably a bit safer. Plus the trample on this, I think, is semi-relevant. All right, taking it. Slide Runner of his own. All right, so we can get another Trampler if I turn against it. Stone Fury, which I can't play. And I don't have landfall. So 1 card left in my opponent's hand. Let's see. I turn against Slide Runner and swing with for 2, 4, 6, 8. He's dead if he has nothing. Is that right? I think that's right. So let's hope my opponent has nothing. All right, it's a close one. That was a close one. All right, so my opponent is 3 color ally at least. Sure Strike number 2's got to come in. Just too good. Just straight up too good. Probably drop a swell for it again. Maybe I don't want the processor. Go a little bit more trick heavy. Brings me to 14 creatures, but yeah, 14 creatures isn't great. Maybe I want to drop Stone Fury for Eyeless Watcher, just more. Is that even good? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the Rot Shambler. Oh, let's just do the Eyeless Watcher, I think. I mean, I could do the processor. I just don't have any way to process. I don't think... I mean, Stone Fury's fine. I don't think it's necessary. All right, let's try this. Yeah, this is definitely a keep. Opponent mulligans. Keeps at 6 on the play. And has a 1-drop. An ally, no less. Okay. Well, that was a good draw. So now we get to go Gnarlid, potentially into Invoker, or Sure Strike, I guess, if we need it. All right, now we get to go possibly Gnarlid, Invoker into Rumbler, maybe even into Baloth if we're fortunate enough. And that blight at that point, the Blighted Woodland will just get absolutely insane. Shadow Glider, sure. So now we get to go. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. So let's go. Ooh, well now we want to do Slide Runner instead. It's a bit more devastating. Granted, he can crack back, which he wouldn't be able to do necessarily with the Invoker, but this is still definitely the correct play. Opponent didn't miss his color. Oh man, wish I could do something about that. All right, well, that's still okay. We have card and hand advantage. We're still dishing out some pretty good damage, I would say. Opponent did not have a follow-up play, which is also good. All right, well, we're looking fine. Grove Rumbler is pretty aggressive here, and we're just a land away from dealing absurd amounts of damage with this Blighted Woodland. And we already have like a Swell of Growth and Sure Strike as well. I mean, I can even like comfortably play around. Well, 5/5 is not a big deal. We basically trade a combat trick for a 5/5, which is fine. I definitely want to hit the land here, though. Nice. Yeah, land drop there is just insane. Just insane. Trying to think if I have enough for just straight up lethal at this point. I don't think I do. But remember, I can crack this woodland too. I think I actually just use Sure Strike just to preserve him. And I still get to follow up too, which is just insane. I could do it on this 8. I could deal 10. But I'm just going to kill his guy. My guy lives. Keep the Blighted Woodland for next turn. Should be pretty insane. And I get to play an Invoker here too. So I think that's just way better. Yeah, I mean, my opponent is in enormous trouble here now. He has to deal with this immediately. Even if he does, we have a Territorial Baloth with the Woodland for the next threat. Geez, just another land drop too. Pretty insane. I don't think my opponent's got a good out to this one. Gideon's Reproach doesn't do it. I guess I could have done it. Yeah, to play around Gideon's Reproach, what I should have done is done it pre-combat. That was actually the the problem. The thing I did not do correctly there. If I had pre-combated the Blighted Woodland, I could have played around. Okay, well, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me, but that definitely was a mistake. Yeah, it's not good enough. Not when my opponent's at 1 and I've got a Swell of Growth in hand, so... We did manage to not... Jeez, and I'm just drawing so crazy good. All right, well, ended up winning this draft. Does mean the next one's going to be an 8-4. This is a surprising draft victory, I got to tell you. I mean, our deck definitely performed at its peak in round 3. Grove Rumbler was just insane. Round 2, I made that huge error and still managed to get the match victory, which is just super lucky. Turn Against was really good. I mean, I won matches with it, but it didn't perform as well as I kind of expected triple Turn Against to. I was expecting that to just wreck everything. All in all, I think this deck was sufficient. It wasn't great. The Call to Scions, the Eyeless Watcher, and the Rune Processor were really just kind of out of place. So if I had, I guess I maybe wish I'd gone into Landfall earlier. I would have ended up with a more cohesive build, but we still managed to get the victory. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you for the next one, which will be an 8-4.